of chasing women, the search for love often turns into an exhausting and attempts that are sometimes desperate. But what if I told you a better way to do it? How you deal with relationships. What if you could get pleasure and happiness without trying to get someone to love you this? As we try to understand, we come to the Stoicism as a theory that has timeless wisdom that will help you stay calm, point of view, and build respect. Getting along. Stoicism and Greek thought from the past gives people a way to live their lives. Reason, ethics, and self-control lead the way. It's been around for a long time because its usefulness in different areas of life that includes getting to know each other. In this video, look into how the lessons of Marcus, he was one of the most famous Stoics. Philosophers can make you think again, how you talk to women about love and the search for happiness. Understanding the search for understanding why going after women might not be the best idea method. Let's first look at the why. A lot of guys feel that way, forced to chase women because of social norms. Forces that evolved reflexes or society often sees personal fears, is proud of the idea of the relentless hunter who never gives up on the subject of their love. It's possible for guys to feel, as even though they have to show themselves by putting on big shows of love. Unending search and even Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us to take a step back to think and pause on what will happen because of what we do. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome. Sophists had a lot to say about he wrote about desire and quest in his thoughts. Don't hate death, but welcome it, because nature wants it that way. Else when it comes to pursuing women, that this could be seen as a warning that we have to let things happen as they will, of things that happen and not make them weak. And never-ending pursuit often lead to unintended effects, such as low self-esteem, strained friendship problems, and unmet needs. The silent way to be happy. In Stoicism says that the main goal is not the chasing after outside things like women, but rather the growth of inner. Focusing on gets you strength and endurance, by when it comes to things we can control, find peace and happiness, no matter what external situations. That this theory encourages to change our attention from trying to change ourselves or the world around us, to becoming different. Marcus Aurelius, of the book Stoic Par Excellence, is very helpful. Help on this way to inner change, he tells us to waste. Don't argue about what a good, the idea that man should be one comes from. When it comes to love ships, this means being our best selves instead to try to make someone else into. We should chase our dream partner instead. Women focus on getting better at themselves. How you act and become a man of being honest and having virtue in. When it comes to partnerships, Stoicism puts a stress on ethics, living in line with morals and sense of reason. Marcus Aurelius tells us that the joyful of your life depends on how good of what you think about this rule is. This is especially important when it comes to friendship. Instead of going after women, try to grow virtue inside you. You should be wise, brave, and just, and self-control. These traits will not only make you a better person, will also make you look better to possible partners instead of chasing women. Let them be drawn to the virtues that good people should have. Helps with embracing. One of the most important lessons of Stoicism is how important self-control means. Being able to handle your wants and feelings is central to live a quiet life. You need to stop going after women because urges to need something or instant pleasure. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You control your mind, not the outside world. Events know this, and you'll find, when it comes to relationships, strength." This means being aware that you can take charge of your acts and feelings, even if you can't change how other people act or feel. By exercising self-control, you can keeping your cool and being emotionally stable, which is important in every friendship. Valuing independence and chasing women a lot means not respecting their independence and wants because the focus is on you. Wants and needs. Stoicism, on the other, teach us to accept the autonomy of and the uniqueness of other people. In his Thoughts and Reflections, by Marcus Aurelius. I have everything I need, which is okay for you, universe, but not for me, which comes in too early or too late. It's time for you. This insight tells us that we are a part of something bigger order, and what we want should match up with that order. Instead of going after women, we should accept the choices they make, and bounds of the art of waiting in the chase of women. Impatience can be an important problem with the desire to get what they want right away, often leads to acting without thinking and without deciding. Stoicism supports making choices that patience, keeping us in mind that some things are worth the wait. As Marcus Aurelius said it well, the key is to keep company only with people who make you feel good, whose instead being there brings out your best. Instead of recklessly chasing women, wait and give time to show what's really going on, of how well you get along and connect, staying strong in the face of rejection, a widespread and often painful event in the world of relationships and dates. Many guys take being turned down personally. It hurts their self-esteem, which leads to anger, sadness, and frustration. Stoicism comes from a different angle. On Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Reject, in response to the harm you feel and the harm itself." This Stoic message goes away on its own. Tells us not to reject others rather than seeing it as a loss see it as an attack on your sense of self-worth. Chance to grow and learn. Rejection for self-improvement does not figure out what your worth is as a person. Just a part of the natural flow and of life. Why perception is important. Stoicism stresses how important it is to keeping things reasonable and fair view on the problems we face in life and wins in the area of relationships. That is, don't tie your happiness to anything else. To the result of your search for women, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, think about how valuable it's an honor to be able to breathe and live. To enjoy and love this viewpoints help us remember that life is a gift, and our happiness shouldn't depend on focus on outside factors, instead of use women as a means to an end. Being happy right now, and the ties you have now, have making ties that matter." We learn from Stoicism that the most connections that matter and last come from being real and respecting each other. Instead of going after women, try to build connections that are real and deep. If you don't want to waste time, Marcus Aurelius wrote, having a fight over what a good man should be. When it comes to connections, that means being real and be the best with women you talk to. You will be the best version of yourself. Naturally draw in people who like and love you for who you are. Of happiness, Stoicism puts a strong focus on finding happiness within, on ourselves, instead of looking for it in exterior things. From this point of view, we need to completely change how we do things. Marcus Aurelius tells us that relationships, it doesn't take much to make someone happy. Life is all about what's inside you. How you think about things in the setting of in terms of relationships. This means chasing. In order to find happiness, women is a noble pursuit of true happiness comes from having a certain way of thinking of thanks and acceptance. Freedom from relationship is one of the most important lessons of Stoicism. Means being free from attachment to outside things. This idea is especially important to the Marcus Aurelius, wrote about his desire of women. Being unlike him is the best way to get back at him. They did the injury in the setting of in marriages. This means that getting back at someone for wrongdoing, not being accepted or disappointed, is not the silent way. Instead, practice being free from letting go of connection and the need for validation from the outside, and finding strength in self-sufficiency. The Stoic way to being serious about love gives you a how you see love and relationships, invites us to grow a love that is good, generous, and long-lasting. In these words by Marcus Aurelius, show us the best way to get even with yourself, by not being that way. When it comes to love, this means rising above the small fights and games that happen a lot, having to do with partnerships and dating, instead of getting even, or use of trickery to show love that is based on trust, respect, and choosing Stoicism over kindness in practice. Now that we've talked about the stern rules that can help you get away from going after women and toward a satisfying way to deal with relationships, let's talk about what you can do right now to follow these lessons in your daily life. First, take some time to think about yourself. By this habit of self-reflection is a Stoicism's main idea, and it's important for understanding your own reasons, wants, and weaknesses. Spend time to think about the past, the trends you've seen in relationships, thought about why they did well or poorly, What did you expect, and how did it? They change the outcome. Becoming aware of your own thoughts, the way you think and feel will help you. Decide what to do more wisely in the future. Practice with number 2. Getting better, as Marcus Aurelius told not to argue about it any longer. What a good man should be. Beside putting your energy into work to improve yourself about how to become your best self. Not to make people like you, but to live a life to follow of virtue and inner strength. Hobbies, learning, and growing as a person that make you happy and help you grow. Character number 3 needs to learn to be patient. Often, people are impatient and want to women who make hasty choices and what to do to stop this practice. Have patience in every part of your life. Know that the best things will happen when people who can wait patiently can be smarter and more thoughtful. Choice, especially in the area of build ties. Number 4. Thank you for your help in the search for women. Simple to draw our attention to what you lack instead than what you've changed your point of view by showing thanks as. A very small point that Marcus Aurelius made is, everything you need to live a happy life inside of you in the way you think. Every day, take a moment to think about what you're thankful for this. It's possible to be happy with practice. Inside yourself, and lessen the need to look for external approval. Number 5. Respect people's right to be left alone when you're with women. Always respect their right to be alone, and when making choices, it's important to remember that everyone has their own goals and ways to get there. That you should not try to change someone's mind or force them to follow your wants. Should respect their privacy. If someone isn't interested, move on. With kindness and without anger. Number 6. Changes. As we already talked about, rejection. It's normal to be rejected sometimes. Doesn't say how much you're worth when being turned down. Practice with a Stoic attitude of seeing it as take the chance to grow and use it as a chance to make yourself stronger. And refusal for self-control doesn't show what makes you unique or valuable as a person. Just a situation that can help you learn and get better at building. Number 7. Make important connections that change your focus. From going after women to building. Using meaningful links to approach each relationship based on truth and show respect. Be honest and be interested in when you connect with someone. Putting together a strong base on respect and understanding for each other will make things more enjoyable and last longer. Number 8. Let go of relationships. External approval is what Stoicism tells us. How important it is to find support instead of going out and looking for it. From outside sources, free yourself from the need for approval all the time, or pay attention to build self-sufficiency and strength inside, so you don't have to look for approval through ties or outside sources. Number 9. Use emotional control. Get better at being able to control. Stoicism in how you feel and act gives keeping a high level of self-control and common sense. Even in events that are hard, when it comes to controlling your emotions in relationships, will to help you get around. In Dynamics 10. Things to do to show grace and sincerity. Good love accepts the stern idea of good love. This means putting your attention on love that is built on knowledge. If you have the guts and self-control to do it, try to build a love that is based on reality. When it comes to morality and selflessness ideas rather than the pursuit of fleeting pleasures, from a Stoic point of view on long-term ties, while we've looked at how Stoicism can help you get away from going after women to a more taking a balanced attitude to dating, is just as important to think about how these lessons can change relationships for the long term. After all, long-term marriages that work out need a dedication to the same tough. The ideas we've talked about so far. Number 1. Find virtue in Stoicism. Being good means having character. Life to use this for a long time. Interactions make sure that what you do and choices are based on knowledge, truth, bravery, and self-control are the goal is to be a good partner and to look for a similar good person in your second important person in your life. Stay in control of yourself. Self-control is important not only during the search of women, but over the course of a long-term friendship. What you can do to control your feelings, especially during having disagreements and problems, is important. You learn to step back through Stoicism. Think about the problem logically and take control of your actions instead of being impulsive. Third, learn to be patient. Long-term relationships always bring the obstacles and problems. Stoicism makes patience a trait you must have. Know that not everything will go your way. And some things might take some time to resolve. Being patient lets you weather rains and enjoy the process of growth in your. The fourth connection is respect. Freedom. Just as much as you respect the free will of women in the pursuit of relationships, are still based on freedom and uniqueness of your long-term partner in a relationship. Strong bonds between people are built on love and help for each other. Number of other people's choices and life paths. 5. Take failure well, even if rejection in long-term relationships can come in different forms, like differences, different points of view, or Stoicism supports changes in how people feel. How to deal with failure or rejection, using them as chances with grace for both personal growth and making things better. 6th, on your own and as a couple, encourage deep relationships as the relationship moves forward. Building on the base of important connections that are honest and open communication about shared goals and honor and respect are the foundations of an aim for a good long-term relationship, for a relationship that stays real and satisfying over time. Number 7, people are happy with Stoicism. Teaches that real happiness comes from within, no matter what the outside. The situation in the long-term friendship. This means you shouldn't depend on your partner to give you constant. Instead, look for happiness or satisfaction. Keep working on making yourself happy, and share that inner eighth. Make peace with your partner. Keep your freedom from ties. When it comes to long-term ties, leads to a bad amount of attachment. Something that can be bad for both people who are calm, are told to keep a feeling of not being tied to anything outside factors, even when deeply. Freedom to be in a relationship, this letting you love your partner without having to depend on them for your happiness. Number 9. Accept tough love. Being strong in a long-term friendship pushes you to do what we could. This kind of love is called silent love. Known for having understanding and a lack of self-interest, promise to care for the health of your partner. It's a love that cuts through only want and hopes for the betterment of both people involved. Number 10. Keep mental control, the power to keep your feelings in check. Most important in a long-term friendship, even though the first steps may be the long haul will test your love for the game. Stoicism helps you keep your emotions in check. You with the tools you need to stay calm and sense even when faced with dynamics of a complex connection, as you how to handle long-term relationships. What you've learned about Stoic ideals offer a useful guide to keeping that is satisfying, respectful, and long-lasting partnership. The ideas of Marcus Aurelius stressed how important it was to virtues such as self-control, kindness, respect, and keeping your cool emotionally. Include these stern ideas into your everyday life to build a friendship that lasts by respect, improvement, and a deep understanding of connection. If you do that, you'll not only avoid having to chase after short-lived wants, but also build a bond with them that brings permanent happiness and peace. Take the calm way to love and relationships, and keep in mind what Mark Antony, who said that happiness of your life depends on how good of these calm ideas to your thoughts, lessons that can help you live a happy life, lasting and good for a long time, having a friendship that makes you happy inside, and send it to your